Hello, hello, and welcome to what's sure to be a reveal beyond anything we've seen before. I'm Tommy D'Addario, TV host and lifestyle correspondent, and I've been invited by Celebrity Cruises to take all of you along as we learn about their newest ship, Celebrity Beyond. Now, I'll be honest, I've never set foot on a cruise ship, but I intend to change that very, very soon. And you guys, Celebrity Cruises President and CEO, Lisa Lutoff Perlo, promises me I'm about to have my mind blown. And guess what? I believe it. So we're going to do things a little bit differently today. Usually I'm the one kind of leading the conversation as a host, but Lisa, this is her baby. So I want to just geek out and be a spectator and ask the fun questions, but I want you to take the lead on this. And I want to enjoy this with everybody else. So Lisa, without further ado, thank you so much for joining us today. I am beyond humbled to talk to you. You are an icon in this business. You are a trailblazer in this business. And I would love to kick this off by just hearing from you on what Celebrity Beyond is all about.
Oh my goodness. Well, the great thing about today is that you don't have to listen to me tell you what Celebrity Beyond is all about. I have the opportunity to have conversations with the people who had the most influence over what Celebrity Beyond is all about. And it really is beyond anything I think anyone is going to expect. I know we're going to use that pun a lot, but it's so appropriate. I realize you've not been on a ship before, Tommy, but I do know I'm going to change that. And I do know I'm going to change your mind, just like a lot of friends you have, like probably your friend Nate Berkus, who was never on a ship before or had seen a ship before I showed him Celebrity Edge. And now he's a big convert as well. So, and he's one of the many people I'm going to be talking to today. So today is a special day. We're finally introducing Celebrity Beyond to the world. It is 1 year from right now when she is going to do her first cruise with guests over in Europe. We couldn't be more excited, and it's long overdue. So thank you for helping us show her to the world on her official debut today. Well, hello, Harry and Richard. It's the three amigos together again, talking about a new build and a new ship introduction. And I got to tell you, I, for one, love the fact that we're able to do that together today. It's a really special day.
Well, I think this is a great day. I must admit, I wish we were doing it in person rather than over the internet, but it is a great day and we got lots of really exciting things to talk about.
We sure do. We're introducing Celebrity Beyond to the world today. She is a very special ship. She's
going to be blown away.
Blown away. She's going beyond expectations. And I don't know if you remember, but when we first started working on Edge together, it was back in early 2015. And one of the things that you and I talked about was, gee, wouldn't it be nice if we could make her a little bigger and stretch her? And I don't think it was a new idea. It was something that had been contemplated before, but then we worked hard to see how we would make that happen. And we also agreed that we weren't going to be able to do that until the third ship in the series. And that's what Celebrity Beyond is.
And I think we loved Edge in every way. We loved how the ship flowed. We loved the open decks and all this. So I remember that we said that maybe we had a lot of ideas. So maybe we could look on making her a little bit longer, a little bit bolder and bigger. And so we intended to preserve as much as we can from some of the basic elements and ideas, which I think we loved all the stateroom areas, all the suite areas.
We do need to be careful because we use the word stretch here. I think it doesn't do it justice. What we were talking about is we were taking something that turned out to be extraordinary. Edge was not just another vessel. It was revolutionary in its own way. And one of the things, as you recall, we were worried about is you don't want to mess up. You've done something really good. And yes, you'd like to improve it because our mantra is continuous improvement. And when people think about a stretch, they think about making the ship longer. But a lot of what we were focused on, as you recall, was lifting up, in particular in the suite section, to give more space, more feeling of openness, more feeling of height and spaciousness. And so This wasn't a simple stretch, so it's not the traditional stretch where you simply put in a new section throughout the vessel, but this was targeted increases in space. And I think it's important to talk about it as an expansion rather than a stretching.
Yeah, I agree. But also, one of the things that I thought was especially special about what we did with Celebrity Beyond was that we were so thoughtful in terms of the spaces that we really wanted to enhance, just because of how well they were received by our guests. And, when you think about the resort deck, when you think about the rooftop garden, and when you think about the Grand Plaza, those spaces have been so special to our guests. And I think, when Celebrity Beyond comes out, those types of spaces are going to be even more important and more special to our guests.
Shipbuilding is half science, but it's still half art. We have the three-dimensionality, and we can really, I think in the past, so our decks have had a tendency to be horizontal. And here we really said that being able to have cascading decks going up and down and really adding that third dimension is so important.
What are the things about this class of ships, and now even with Celebrity Beyond, that are most special to each of you?
I think most of the people doesn't probably see it or understand it, that the ship's structural, the way the ship structure is laid out is very unique and has enabled us to really open up the sides of the vessel so that we have the connectivity to the ocean. But I feel that the connection to the ocean, if you are in your stateroom, if you are in your suite, or if you are in some of the public areas, I think that to my mind is one of the really exceptional elements of the vessel.
There are some just mind-boggling features on these vessels, and on beyond, they really are beyond the imagination. And those features are wonderful.
Come on, guys, before we end our time together, we've got to talk about the magic carpet.
At the end of the day, I think that a crazy idea, even for us, became something where we were sure quite early that this is a true winner, and it truly has been that. And it signals something what is really very unique in the vessel. It symbolizes the thinking. I think I wasn't really probably in the beginning a friend of the color, but later on I probably has become, even my watches are the same at the moment.
Being a part of the discussions around the color, which is tangerine, right, gentlemen? We agree it's tangerine, not orange. Tangerine is much more new luxury for Celebrity.
I'll take that. Tangerine sounds good.
I would also like to just say thank you for participating in the reveal today. It's been a while since the three of us have been together, and even though it's just virtually, it's been wonderful. It's a very special occasion for all of us who believe in these ships and now are getting ready to introduce Celebrity Beyond.
Man, Richard and Hari are true visionaries. Shipbuilding and design, that is so cool and so interesting. I would love to sit in a room and just pick their brains on this. Okay, who are we chatting with now?
So Tom, it's so nice to be with you for so many reasons, but especially because we're finally introducing Celebrity Beyond to the rest of the world. And thank you for helping us do that.
I think when we designed Edge, we realized that we had hold of something sort of fantastic. But Edge, as like all sort of new ships, is really a prototype. And then beyond, there was this opportunity to make the ship longer, slightly taller. And with that opportunity, the end result, I'm quite sure is going to be absolutely fantastic.
One of the things that really strikes me about the Rooftop Garden is the level of comfort that we were able to incorporate into that space for the guests.
On Beyond, we had the opportunity to really look at the wind in some detail. We finally came up with some spoilers that are actually going to sort of create a great wind environment. And in fact, the bandstand, it has two functions. Not only is it a bandstand roof, it's also a spoiler that should throw the wind up and away from the guests. And then the rooftop grill as well, we redesigned. So that is much bigger and much more exciting.
It's beautiful. Both of the spaces are just beautiful. And the water feature enhancement, it's really taken it to a whole nother level. And as I've now looked at the Sunset Bar, it has truly become what I've always believed it could be and wished it was on Celebrity Beyond.
it comes from looking at what we had on Edge, and it was just so successful. And we thought,
Yes.
oh, quite an opportunity here, really, to do something much more. And Nate's done a great job of the sort of Moroccan theme on the back. That's absolutely fantastic. And then the idea of stepping terraces down towards the Ocean View Cafe, and so that you had a great communication between the two decks. It's going to make the top of the back of the ship, the aft view, look very, very special.
Oh, it's beautiful. So if we go to the resort deck, because the resort deck has also been lengthened, and that gave us a lot of opportunity to do different things. And tell us about how you thought about that space.
We kept an awful lot of the pieces we liked. We've kept the big view out to the port side. We've kept the two-story cabanas on the starboard side, but the asymmetric design of the pool deck and the big view out to the sea, and the fact it has an enclosure of 2 stories, which is unlike any other pool deck at sea, really makes it special. And all of that is still there. It's just slightly bigger. We spent a huge amount of time on the lighting, just making sure that the main features kind of lit up. I really like the idea that a ship is something that kind of lives. It's like a whole city that travels from place to place. And it's something about that voyage that makes it so special and sort of makes the design very intriguing, because, as you say, all you need is an amazing window and you've got an amazing view. And if you think about it, that is what this resort deck does. It tries very hard to look out the window at what's going on.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Wright. I really, really appreciate your time.
Lisa, I am amazed by the thoughtful innovation that Tom has brought to this entire series of ships, but especially the Beyond, and I cannot wait to get on board and see this with my very eyes. Okay, where are you taking us next?
We are so excited that we're finally able to be together again, even though it's via Zoom, and talking about our beautiful new ship, because I think she's yours too, not just celebrities.
Oh, you're so sweet. It's exciting to, having designed it and done all of this a year ago, to now actually sort of be talking about it, because behind the scenes, it's all been happening, but to be actually to sort of be able to unveil it and talk about it now is really exciting.
When you were looking at approaching Celebrity Beyond, how did you and the team think about the accommodations, given that you had already designed them on Edge and Apex? Did you try to think about them a little differently for Beyond?
Yeah, I mean, I think with every design, when you go back, it's a bit like redesigning a room in your home. You've lived in it, you've experienced it, you've loved it, but you kind of want to refresh. So it's thinking about what you can do that doesn't take away the essence of the architecture and what we created and we knew worked. It's more about the textures, the colors, the accessories. It's detail. It's tiny detail.
One of the things about Celebrity Beyond that's special and a little different than Celebrity Apex and Celebrity Edge is that we've been able to really create more of a sanctuary for our retreat guests. The adjacency of these spaces is even better, Celebrity Edge and Apex. And so let's go to Luminae.
I let myself go wild in that space. I wanted to make sure that as you entered the space, there was one experience, and next to it was a longer piece with a different shaped table with a different light. So it's a journey. I wanted people to be in that restaurant and feel that they needed to book it the next night, that they wanted to sit over there, or they wanted to be here, that every kind of corner of this space was a new experience in itself.
Let's talk about the Retreat Sundeck, because that's another space that I remember when we added the length to the ship and also the height to the ship. And I saw that this could now be a multi-level deck. Once again, I thought Kelly is just going to have a blast with this.
For this space, it was sort of creating the ultimate holiday. People are joining together. There's music, there's drinks, there's whatever it is. But it was also creating these sort of solitude little spaces, these little zen areas that people could chill, because every day someone's going to feel different. Every day someone's going to want something different. And I remember when we first met, I remember saying to you, can people have cocktails and hamburgers up there? Can we extend it? Can it be the sunset? Like do something that's different. So this space, I think, will become so integral to the ship and people's experience.
I want to stay focused on the outdoor spaces because you've done a great job with a lot of these spaces. And let's start with the resort deck and the cabanas.
I mean, the space is extraordinary. And as you say, what Tom did with the architecture was phenomenal. But to be able to still have that intimacy, but in the larger scale of the ship, was really important. So it was about the similarity, the long lines of, how you rolled the towel and which way the stripes would go. And then having these amazing sculptural leaves where we created these kind of cabanas and the bar area. So again, there are lots of fluid shapes. There are lots of exciting materials. But if you were to stand in the middle and do a 360, you would just keep stopping because there's just so much to look at. I think that the sky and the deck are just going to merge into one, and it's just going to be an extraordinary space day and night.
And then the other space that I wanted to spend some time talking about, because it's been such a home run for us and such a hit, is the Rooftop Garden and Rooftop Garden Grill area.
I really wanted to have that neutral, but adding in that kind of, that amazing kind of ochre, well, sort of like a yellow, a beautiful color. And I kind of look at this area as a place where people really will chill out. And I think then the restaurant area, and the way we've sort of shielded that off and brought in some black and the sort of marble types and the stone and all of the beautiful trees that we've got in there. Again, you could be in Italy. It's a very different feeling.
And that's exactly why partnering and collaborating with you and some of the others that we have that have designed the spaces was so important to us. We wanted the level of design, the thinking, the beauty, how your spaces make people feel, which is why you now are part of so many more spaces. So we are so excited to have you in this expanded designer role for Celebrity Beyond.
Wow, it is always so inspiring to hear from a creative mind like Kelly. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, who are we chatting with now?
Nate Berkus.
Oh my goodness, what a sight to our eyes.
I wish I could come through this screen and give you the biggest hug ever.
Thank you. It's so good to see you too, Lisa. I got a promotion.
Yeah, you did. You got a big promotion. And you are now one of our world-class designers on Celebrity Beyond. And it just so happens that you are designing one of the most important spaces on the ship, which is the Sunset Bar. And it's one of the spaces that for years I felt we had a much bigger opportunity to create an environment that was worthy of how special that space was and how much our guests loved being there. Because we added another deck, this space itself became much more interesting. It's multi-level, it's multi-dimensional. And so for you to come in at this particular time to design the Sunset Bar, you have an extraordinary space to work with.
My team and I sat down and we led with our heart. And then we started thinking about how this place should look. And when a good designer thinks about how something should look, they're thinking about how people should feel. I thought to myself, if I can combine my favorite places in the world, the best parts of Mexico, with the best parts of Greece, with the best parts of Uruguay, with the best parts of California, I wanted this space to represent aspiration. I wanted it to represent relaxation, but like an upmarket relaxation.
And you pushed back where you needed to push back to ensure that the space lived up to your inspiration. And a couple of those that stand out for me are the niches. So tell us about the niches.
I thought there's nothing more relaxing than being able to tuck yourself into these little banquettes, these little benches, these little niche conversation areas, and just sit with the people that you have either met on your journey or came on your journey with and talk about everybody else.
Another area that I found very special that has this very sort of Morocco or Casablanca feel is the bar.
So my intention with the design of that bar area was to combine all of these extremely traditional, historic architectural materials and patterns, which I designed. By the way, I drew my own patterns for all the pillows, seats of the chairs, all of that is all custom. But it was an opportunity for me to combine these historic ceramics, terracotta, metal, bronze, brass, carved wood, all of these things that have been elements in design for years, but combine them in a way that felt really vibrant and exciting and energetic.
You know, the other thing I love about this Sunset Bar, again, it's because we raised the ship enough where we added a deck, was the terracing. You know, and it's not a full deck, it's just a few steps down. It is one of the spaces that has truly been transformed on Celebrity Beyond, but even the design of it, the sense of arrival, how it makes you feel.
I mean, I think I'll lose my mind the first time I see one of your guests, our guests really, sitting on Instagram or on social media saying, here, I'm in the Sunset Bar designed by Nate Berkus on Celebrity Beyond. I mean, it's going to be hard for me not to be behind them going like this.
In the meantime, though, Nate Berkus, thank you so very much for everything that you've done for Celebrity Beyond and for being such a good friend, and the heart that you put into what you've done for this amazing ship and for all of us. And I think you and I know each other well enough to know that that feeling for us is priceless. So thank you so very much.
It's such my pleasure. Here we go. I cannot wait to see it all come together.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Ciao. Ciao, my
Thank
friend.
Oh, I can so imagine parking myself at the Sunset Bar, having a few cocktails, and taking in all of these amazing designs from Nate. So, who are we chatting with now?
Good day, Chef Danielle. How are you, my friend?
I am fine. I am in New York City. And I tell you one thing, in New York, we miss the cruise ship too.
Yes, yes. I want to talk a little bit about your involvement with Celebrity Beyond. But before that, I'd like to go back a little bit, if you don't mind. We've had a partnership for a few years now, right?
Absolutely. And we have been doing wonderful thing on the edge and creating some menu, specialty dishes on some of the restaurants.
And you're also very involved in our menus in Lumine.
With Lumine, it was about also creating a pairing between the food and wine. Lumine was a great success, so I'm looking forward to what we all gonna do at Beyond.
I was so hoping that as you got to know us and as you worked more with us, the culmination of that would be a Daniel Boulud restaurant on one of our ships. And that's what we're here to talk about today. It's your restaurant and it's called Le Voyage.
I love that word. And as a young chef, I always dreamed to travel. And Le Voyage means traveling, wander the world, and taking a food journey.
And Patrick Joanne, another Frenchman, and Sanjeet Manku were so excited to work with you as well to design this very special place.
I love their work, their sophistication, and they're visionary. They have created some incredible moment with screens. For example, screens you can see through, but it still give you a sense of a little bit of privacy. But it all live together. You can change tables every night and you will feel like you're in a different restaurant.
And the other thing that's very special is the entrance and the exit of the restaurant are in two different locations. And they also create two experiences for the guest.
There'll be a wonderful little cozy area where you check in. You are, of course, welcome with a glass of champagne if you want to spend a minute there. But otherwise, you are taken to your table. And then at the end, after dessert, to be in a different room where you don't have to sit down again, where you can just stand up and start to wonder about things you haven't had a chance to see. So there'll be curated book. There'll be curated things where people can take back home as well as a souvenir. There'll be certainly some specialty food. There will be some sweets and maybe a little nightcap.
Have you thought a little bit about what some of those themes might be on the menu in terms of all of the different places the ship will travel in the world, and how you've thought about culinary and all of the amazing dishes you've created over time?
The cuisine will be not always target to a city or to a place, but more to a cuisine and to its expression through the tradition of that cuisine. So I think the process of creativity will definitely be based on the journey Beyond will be taking, but also the journey I'm taking and where I want people to go.
Thank you so much for helping share what your wonderful experience on Celebrity Beyond is going to be.
Thank you, Lisa, and looking forward to be cooking on Beyond in Le Voyage and share some good time together. Thank you, Lisa.
Ciao.
Be well.
Bye, you too. Ciao.
Oh, I just love Danielle's restaurant so much, and I am so excited to try this one on board. So who are we chatting with now?
Well, hello, Sanjeet. It's so nice to see you again. I'm going to talk to you about a couple of spaces today, but certainly the one that we're going to spend the most amount of time on is the space that's so important to these beautiful Edge series of ships, which is the Grand Plaza.
So I'm really, really excited about it because I really remember very, very clearly your comments when Edge came out, and you were just really happy about how social a space it was, which is really what it is all about. And with Beyond, we're really, taking that to another level about finding, with that extra 10 meters, we found new opportunities.
One of the things that was really interesting for me as we were working together on the expanded Grand Plaza is how you had to rethink this space and the chandelier and the bar that got us to this amazing outcome.
The first move was centrally give everyone something to look at. On one side, we put the dance floor, right? But you're not underneath the center. On the other side, we do terracing. It's all about being part of the community.
Tell us about the chandelier and the evolution of it and how you preserved that one focal point of the chandelier, because that's been a huge home run.
Edge was really a central focal point and everything radiated out from that. The new one was a landscape, right? The whole floor is a landscape. And so we wanted this mirror. So the ceiling also became a landscape. I think the focal point of light and this vertical connection between the bar and the chandelier that we've had, that I think was probably the most successful part of Edge, we've retained that, even though the form and the shape of it's changed.
The last spot I want to talk about in this space before we move on is the bar, the Martini Bar.
While the Martini Bar is bigger, there's more access. Because I remember taking some photographs when we were on Edge. I was surprised at how many people, there were like 3 or 4 rows sometimes of people. By making it a little bit bigger, we can accommodate that, but we didn't want to lose that multiple height thing. So we still have that. And I think it's going to work very, very, very well for you.
We do too. We're very excited. The one space that I did want to talk about today is the space that you and Danielle Ballou collaborated on, which is the new, really high-end specialty restaurant on Celebrity Beyond called Le Voyage. The restaurant is intimate. It's only 50 seats.
So we've made these, what we call these kind of lanterns that you walk into, that you dine in these lanterns. And then so what they do is there's just something beautiful when you're bathed in light. You feel good, and everyone around you looks good, right? So it's the key to having just a beautiful romantic evening.
The other thing that's quite different about Le Voyage is the way you enter and the way you exit. Those are separated, the entrance and the exit, on purpose.
So you have the hustle and bustle of the ship in the Grand Plaza. Then you go into this vestibule, and then all of a sudden the world begins to slip away. Then you slip and you glide in. And it's also, if you're already in there, in the restaurant, it's a much more calm way of people entering in that you don't quite notice them. And there's a special room to just send you off at the end of your meal, so that when you leave, there's this generosity and this attention that is part of a fine dining restaurant, just until the last moment those doors open and you go back out into the rest of the world.
Thank you, my friend. And I can't wait to see you soon.
Same here. And I can't wait till we're on Beyond. I'm sure it's going to be a great experience for all of us.
It sure is. You take care.
Wow. Okay. Really, really cool. So who have we been saving for last, Lisa?
Hello, Kelly. Hello, Paris. It's so good to see you both, especially for an occasion that's as special as this.
It's great to see you too. We've been waiting for this.
Yes, haven't we? So I'd love to hear from both of you how you feel about the change in Celebrity Beyond.
It's really remarkable how much more space, but also amplified offerings we were able to bring to the guest, and how much further we were able to push the design and the innovation.
Beyond kind of gives me chills with our great array of designers and our imagination and the collaboration that we have with each other. It's just taken us to a place that really surpassed our own ambition, I think.
Can you each tell me which of the areas you found to be most impactful in how they have changed?
The Grand Plaza is probably the first thing that comes to mind, but I'd say the other big space that I'm really excited about experiencing and that is almost entirely newly imagined is the Sunset Bar.
I'd like to build on the point about the Sunset Bar and Nate's involvement. I think he was thinking about Beyond before we were even ready to, and I think it speaks a lot to the passion that all of the designers bring. You know, we went back to Tom again for the architecture of the space and what Kelly has done with the ambiance. We are working with 3 absolute top-notch, world-class architects and designers. And that is collaboration, like beyond anything I think that we've ever really done before.
I thought we were able to accomplish a lot of great adjacencies in the retreat as well.
Yes, and also achieving a 2-deck high Retreat Sundeck as well. It really did take it up a whole notch for our sweet guests.
That Retreat Sundeck photo, that's the money shot, right, Paris?
Yeah, it really is. I think it starts to emphasize, you know, how monumental that addition of just a half a deck really can be to that space. There's also something, like you said, the adjacencies by not only enlarging Lumine, but bringing it closer to all of the other retreat amenities creates an environment and a community for your sweet guests that's going to be irreplaceable.
We work with some amazing designers. So I'd love for you both to reflect on that, how you feel they made our ship better and us better.
I felt like I learned a lot from each and every one of them just by watching how they each approach their own problem-solving situation in their own individual areas.
Absolutely, I would agree. I think that's the magic in what we do. It's the diversity of perspectives, and I think that is a sort of symbiotic relationship.
So as you're both talking, and again, I'm just sort of always thinking about that guest. I'm always thinking about our brand. Then when you get on those ships, when they're in operation and you see all that magic happening, I just am overcome with emotion, pride, and because of all of you, I get to feel that. And so I don't know how to thank you.
I think thank you for bringing that perspective and for inspiring us to have that perspective from the guest point of view through every stage through this, because I think that's what makes it what it is.
And supporting the design and the designers, because that I think is a tremendous role that you play as our patron in helping to do the ultimate, because without that support, we wouldn't be able to bring it to life.
Thank you so much for helping me introduce Celebrity Beyond to the world, and for all you do for all of us and our guests and our celebrity team every single day. Thank you, ladies, so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ciao. Over the past year, we've developed a wonderful partnership with an amazing modern lifestyle brand, Goop. And now we're truly excited to be taking this partnership beyond. I couldn't be more excited to continue our partnership with Goop and have Gwyneth as our well-being advisor.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is a first look at Celebrity Cruises' newest ship, Celebrity Beyond.